Yeah, I believe after reading what there is left to read of people from 200 years ago, the doctors from 200 years ago, I have to only conclude that it was evil, because you had doctors speaking up just like Andy, just like me and Pierre, saying we regret the day that we ever vaccinated anybody because we've seen the outcomes. We're talking to the families. We've seen the vaccinated versus they were saying that back then. And then any problem, any doubts whether or not well-founded about the safety of the vaccines must not be allowed to exist. That's 1974, I believe, because of all the craziness that happened with the polio vaccines that have been deified into the savior of humanity. When you go down that trail, you come back a different person. And so here we have all the mythology about how wonderful vaccination is, how it's going to save your child, and parents putting their babies on the altar of vaccination as it's not only a normal thing, but something that's going to save that child, when it's not. That's not how it works. It actually changes the child's immune system forever. And so because that's been allowed to exist is the reason we are today, line me up, I'm susceptible to, because vaccines are great, because polio, because smallpox, vaccines are great, and we're scared now because this thing is happening and it's a lab leak. And I think if we didn't have those shoulders to stand on and those stepping stones and those altars with blood all over them, then we couldn't be where we are today. And I like Dr. Wakefield's, we must have informed consent and we must have ability to choose. They'll never let that happen without a really strong force behind it, because if we're allowed to choose, just like a doctor told me in the hospital when we had mandates, his Nigerian doctor, and he said, I know why they make us give it, because I otherwise wouldn't do it myself. So that's what keeps it going. If we were to focus somewhere else on actual health, on how infant immune systems actually work, on how we can deal with any virus that comes around, these companies would just have to fold. Will that be allowed to happen? Well, it's going to take a lot of force behind for that to happen.